The OK final, do you remember the race in 2020? One of the best you have ever seen. And in a few moments' time, we will virtually replay that. It will be spectacular. Arvid Lindblad to start on pole position alongside Rafa Kamara, who won the WSK Champions Cup a week ago. He starts out of grid 2. We'll take a look at the grid for you in its entirety in a few moments. But first of all, the highlights of the week so far here at Adria. Arvid Lindblad, who won the WSK Supermaster Series in juniors in 2020, steps up to OK for the new year. Eduardo Villa in the Tibi Cut, sensational as he led home Rafa Kamara for a heat win in the Tibi Cut yesterday. Brando Badoea, the king again of the one-lap qualifier, took pole position in time practice with a time of 48.040. The reigning world champion Callum Bradshaw, thus far a week to forget. He will start the final out of grid 34. Meanwhile, Andrea Kimi Antonelli is out of the weekend, still trying to recover from injury sustained in 2020. Looking back at the Russian Andrei Zhivnov on board for Team Komarov. Joseph Turney, JT from MK in the UK. A massive crash in a heat 24 hours ago, thrown out of the kart. A complete 720, but he has fought back. He took a heat win yesterday in spectacular fashion. He will start just a little bit further back than he would have liked. He was in contention for the victory last year, but it is his countryman from London in England, Arvid Lindblad, to start out of grid 1, 204 in the Kart Republic. That's him on the left of your screen. To the right, can we say it for the Oak Racing team? Oh, Menino do Brasil, the boy from Brazil, Rafa Kamara, who took the victory with a win 7 days ago when he passed for the lead with 2 laps to go. The Oak Racing team also competing in the Brazilian Stock Car Championship. Their boy starts out of grid 2 to the right of your screen. That is Rafa, looking to go 2 weeks in a row. This is Eduardo Villa, 257. The Tibi Kart that Ben Horseman, not the actual kart, took to victory at the Oceania Championships in Formula A way back in 1995. The Tibi Kart team, they have provided to Eduardo with a superb chassis. He starts on the inside of the second row alongside the American in the Sauber Kart Republic. This is the familiar silver bell helmet of the driver from New York, USA, Ugo Ugachugu, 203 out of grid 4. The fastest qualifier, Brando Badoea, Team Cetila Racing out of grid 5, so quick. He's the boy from Montebelluna, north of Venice, on the third row of the grid, alongside Nikola Solov for the DPK Racing team, the Bulgarian Lion. Ready to go, the Eastern European driver for the Spanish team. The colours of his home nation on his helmet. Nikola starts out of grid 6. And then we go to Karol Pashovic, driving for the Kiddix Driver Academy. Karol, the pole, 247, is alongside the driver from Haifa in the Holy Land of Israel. Ariel Elkin for VDK Racing had a stunning pre-final this morning. VDK Racing, who took the World Championship with Victor Martins in 2016 in Bahrain, and 2 years later with Victor Bernier. Ariel from Israel out of grid 8. Then we go to Timur Kuharczyk, 224 for the Robert Kubica chassis on the 5th row of the grid, powered by the TM and also powered by a TM. 223, the Birolard of Christian Cannibal Bertuca on the outside of row number 5. From Milan, about 200 kilometers from here, Christian Bertuca in form. Old school 100cc start. Eduardo Villa also opting for that as well. This is JT from MK in the UK, Joseph Turney from Milton Keynes in the United Kingdom for the Tony Kart Racing team. Can JT do it? From the 6th row of the grid. Let's take a look at the grid for you. Arvid Lindblad on pole position alongside Rafa Camara. Second row in the TB card, as we saw, is Eduardo Villa. And the American in the Sauber Kart Republic, Ugo Ugochukwu. Brando, the fastest qualifier, alongside the Bulgarian Lion, Nikola Zolov. Carroll is alongside Ariel on the fourth row of the grid. Timur Kuharczyk, another pole, and Christian Bertuka. We go back to the sixth row. We are watching Joseph Turney, who starts alongside the Ward Racing Russian Artem Severukian. Mart is alongside Norton for a Scandinavian seventh row. Christian Ho, Marcus Kayak, Lucas Malik, Michael Paparo, and another boy from Brazil, Enzo Fittipaldi, I should say. Valerio Rinicella, Seb Grab, Ivan Gilter, Yeri Bachichka, Luca Lystra, Jesse Carrasquedo, the Mexican Nicola Lacorte, Marlon Hernandez, another South American in Matias Morgato. Then we go to Luigi Carluccio, who scraped through to the final after a messy pre-final. Charlie Verts, Denny Catanini, Ricardo Gracia, one of four Brazilians in the race here this afternoon. Arthur Rojon and the reigning world champion, Callum Bradshaw, out of grid number 34. Stand by, this will be spectacular. Round one of the WSK Supermaster Series at Adria Karting Raceway. Arvid Lindblad from London, the Red Bull Junior. On pole position, you know it's the South American Rafa out of grid two. Welcome to Adria. Welcome to a sunny winter's day in the north of Italy. Welcome to round one of the WSK Supermaster Series. Lindblad leads up to the line, and we race. Carnage in the first corner. Lindblad goes round. Oh, can you believe it? Lindblad from pole position is out. Villa leads in the Tibi cut, not for long, because Brando slams it up the inside. The Italians go 1-2. Villa off the circuit, retakes the top spot. Ugo sits there in third, just repeating. Yes, Arvid Lindblad is out. What a sensational start. Lindblad is attempting to restart. There he is in the background. It will not fire. He's out. Villa leads in the Tibi cut from Brando Baduea. Lindblad pushes the Kart Republic away. He's furious. Take a look at this from the start. He goes to the outside. Kamada had no space. Kamada was in the grass, made contact as we lose one of the Ward Racing drivers, meanwhile live on the start-finish straight. What a start. It is Norton Andreasen who has gone round immediately under the bridge. A local yellow only for the moment. They clear the Tony Kart off the track. As Brando goes down the inside to take the lead from his countryman. Villa fights back. Ugo down the inside tries to take both the Italians. What a move from the American. Villa from the lead back to second, back to third, and now he's being hounded by the Bulgarian Nikola Zolov. What a start. Andreasen's kart was under the bridge. It has been removed. He's out. Lindblad is out. And also getting caught up in that first lap accident was Joseph Turney. There's Lindblad's kart at the bottom of your screen, the Londoner. Out of the race. Moved down the inside by Kuharczyk. In the arcade kart, goes through, makes up the place. So aggressive is the start. It is the Kart Republics running at 1, 3, and 4. The Tibi kart in second place. It is David versus Goliath here this afternoon, but it's the driver from New York, USA, who goes position 1. He's the WSK Euro Series champion from 2020 in the Sauber Kart Republic. Down into turn 1. Villa in second, sets the fastest lap. He's hooked up here this afternoon. There's Kamada on the back of Baduea. Zolov behind, ahead of Kuharczyk, Mart, Pashovic, Ariel Elkin, Christian Bertuka as the race finally settles down 3 laps in. We have lost Norton Andreas, and we have lost the two English drivers, Arvid Lindblad from pole, and unfortunately Joseph Turney caught up in that accident at the first corner as well. So can Kamada go 2 in a row? He sits there in third place. Kuharczyk behind in the arcade kart. A sensational start to the WSK Supermaster Series. As Kamada now, this is ominous. He goes 48.67. He's a 10th of a second quicker than the two drivers in front of him. Villa hooked up this afternoon on the back of the American. Can he make the move on Ugo Ugachuku? The Sauber Kart Republic P1. The Tippy Kart to the Oak Racing Team KR in third. Then we've got Badouer, Zoloff, Kuharczyk, Mart for the Charles Leclerc Lennox Racing Team. Down the inside, making the move. Nicely done by Nikola Zoloff, the Bulgarian Lion, now one step off the podium. And now the pole goes through on the fastest qualifier as well. Timek Kuharczyk on the inside, he became the outside, he does not lift, makes up the place. Timek now into P5. Ugo, Eduardo, Rafa, another fastest lap for the South American. There is Zola for the DPK Racing Team in the colours of Fernando Alonso. As Brando has not given up on this yet, it's getting messy down into the hairpin. Kuharczyk comes out ahead, Mart around the outside. Martinia Stensone makes up a couple of places, does the Norwegian driver. A couple of places, I should say. Does Martinius, the second-gen racer. His father, Martin Sr., of course, racing in what was then Intercontinental C way back in the 1990s, some 2 decades ago. Sorry to remind you of your age, Martin. Your boy, who is just a teenager, is now closing in on the podium. Martinius Stensone driving for Ferrari's Formula One star Charles Leclerc, together with Jordan Lennox, the 2012 World Cup winner. Martinius from grid 13 into 7th. So we've passed 1/4 race distance. Kamada, he did this last week. He did not get the best start. Indeed, he was virtually on the grass when he came together with Lindblad, was pushed out wide. Make up your own mind. We don't decide. It's not our decision. And to be perfectly frank, it's irrelevant anyway because Arvid is out. Kamada, certainly not his fault. He was pushed into the grass on that corner. Did not get a good start, but he's got the speed. He's in third place. He did this last week on the back of Eduardo Villa. The Kart Republic's 1-3. The Tippy Kart in second. His famous manufacturer, we told you about Ben Horstman's exploits when he won the 1995, was it? Yes, it was, 1995 Oceania Championships back in Formula A. That was back in the day, 100cc, 20,000 RPM, with what was then a unique 4-bearing chassis. As Rafa goes down the inside and takes second place, too easy from the Brazilian. The Tippy Kart that we were just speaking of, incidentally, that 4-bearing chassis does live on. The original Oceania Championship winning car does live on in 100cc historic racing in the land down under. And the Tippy Kart still on the podium in third, but Rafa Kamada has just picked off the Italian. He did this last week. He's doing it again. Ugo Ugachuku will check the times. Last time, a 48.5. And Kamada, well, virtually identical. But he's already put a kart length between himself and the Italian. There is Nikola Zoloff in fourth place. Senses a podium is on offer here this afternoon as well. Martinius, he's just put in the purple sector. Stensone in position 7, down through the chicane. Not even half race distance yet. Ugo under the bridge, just under 130 k's an hour. The Kart Republics, they go 1-2. He throws it down into turn 1. Ugo, the gap is 0.3 of a second, a 48.3 versus a 48.4 for Rafa. You know what's coming. He's catching him. He will make the move for the lead at some point in the next few laps. I may not need to put an S on the end of the word lap because it might be before we get to the start-finish line this time round. Kamada's right there. He will pounce as soon as he's within striking distance. Here's an opportunity into the hairpin. Too far back. There's Zoloff in fourth. We go back to Kuharczyk. Down through the chicane. Timix ahead of Brando, incidentally, and Martini are still in P7. He gets the slipstream down the straight into turn one. Both powered by the Iami. Eduardo Villa, he's got a TM power plant as Ugo runs wide. Watch into turn three. There's an opportunity, like a cat playing with a mouse. The South American on the back of the North American. The Brazilian on the back of the driver who's flying the stars and stripes here this afternoon in the north of Italy. Into the 10-meter wide sweeper. Villa, he's catching back up. If it's a messy move, the Italian will be back to take second place. There's Zoloff catching as well. What a race here this afternoon. The WSK Supermaster Series here at Adria. Now he gets the toe. Ugo knows that he'll be able to hear him. He'll be able to see him in his peripheral vision. Does he close the door? He doesn't need to because he's too quick. For the moment in turn two, runs wide, does Ugo. Down the inside, you know it's the boy from Brazil who's done it again. He's gone through to take the lead. Villa, he's not out of this either. What a race, the WSK Supermaster Series here at Adria Karting Raceway. Kamada looking to go 2 weeks in a row. Ugo back to second. There's Villa in third, trying to make it second again. Into the hairpin, too far back. Zoloff, he's catching the both of them, as is Kuharczyk in the Kubica Kart in P5. Rafa across the line. The gap, will watch it. It's 0.3 of a second. Watch Villa. Can he take second place? Indeed he can. Down the inside. Nicely done by the Italian. The Tibi Kart splits the KRs. He's back in P2. A rocky ride for Ugo on the exit of the third corner. Jumping, bouncing on the grip here this afternoon at Adria. Superb drive from Eduardo Villa. He came from mid-pack to finish in P5 in this race in 2020, which incidentally was won by Pedro Hilbrand, who we'll see in action later on this afternoon in the KZ2 final. Down through the chicane, under the bridge, the gap last time, 0.3 of a second. We'll check it right now. Half a second. Obrigado, says Rafa. He's on his way to victory. 7 laps to the checkered flag. He won the WSK Champions Cup. He's gone purple last time round in the second sector. There's Ariel Elkin going through, incidentally, still driving superbly. Ahead of Artem Severukian, Mart, Marcus, and Evan Giltau. So while we've been watching the battle for the lead, you can get a glimpse in the background of the karts littered around the circuit. Bertuca is out, Charlie Wirtz is out, Iribe Chichka, Christian Ho, Marlon Hernandez, the Mexican, Jesse Carrasquedo, Nicola Lacorte is out, Norton went out on the second lap, and of course Arvid and Joseph right there on that corner, only a few seconds after we went green. It's a kart park on the infield. The gap, 0.6 of a second, a 48.265 for Rafa Kamara. He won last week, and he's looking to go 2 weeks in a row. There's Karol Pashovic fighting with Marcus Kayak and Michael Paparo. Seb Grav in the background. Having a good run is the Dane behind Callum Bradshaw. From the back of the grid, the reigning world champion up into 19th. After that crash in his first heat yesterday, he ended up against the fence there in the background. He was okay, the kart was not. But it has been a weekend to forget in general for the driver from Leicester. Qualified fastest for the World Championships at PFI in England back in 2017. 3 years later, he took the big one in Portimao in Portugal. Here this afternoon, he's in 19th position. There he is. Speaking of green karts, Eduardo Villa has pulled away from Ugo in second place. 3/4 race distance. Rafa looks good. Kamada, the Oka Racing team from Brazil. The karts littered in the background around the circuit here at Adria. Michael Paparo going through. Marcus Kayak for the Ward Racing team. Good drive from the Estonian, one place outside the top 10 as Villa throws the tippy car down through the chicane. Kamara, the gap 7/10 of a second. He's not running away with it. Maybe he's walking away with it. Either way, it is comfortable for the South American. The Oak Racing team, as we mentioned, it is a Kart Republic powered by an IAMI. But ORT racing in the Brazilian Stock Car Championship. Yes, the V8 powered Stock Car Championship down in South America. Fabulous series that is as well. A strong connection to international WSK karting for so many of the drivers. We think of the likes of Gaetano Di Mauro, who's raced with us in WSK in the past. Also Gabriel Bortoleto, of course. And now their boy Rafa, 3 laps from victory, 4 kilometres to be precise, as he goes under the bridge now. It was 7/10 of a second. Now it's 9/10. We'll call it 1 second. There's Timek going through. Heda Brando, Ariel Elkin, Severukin, Mart, Michael Paparo, Marcus Kaya, Karol Pashevic, that's Evan Gilter and Rini Cella, Malik, Morgato, Coluccio, Lystra, Bradshaw, Seb Grav, Emo Fittipaldi ahead of his countrymen, Oxmeninos do Brasil, Emo and Ricardo, 2 of the 4 Brazilians here in the race this afternoon. Matias Morgato in P16, and you know, position 1, it's Rafa. Hugo starts to close in on the back of Eduardo Villa. He looks really good down through the chicane. He can just put the 257 exactly where he wants the Italian. Less than 2 laps remaining. The gap 1.2 seconds. A 48.09. He's 3/10 of a second quicker than the other drivers who are trying to chase him down. There's Zoloff in the background. It looks as though the Bulgarian Lion will miss the podium for the Spanish DPK racing team here this afternoon. The KRs split by the Tippy card, although Hugo, last year's WSK Euro Series champion, tries to change that and at least make it a KR 1 and 2. Rafa comes across the line. It's the last lap board now. He won last week the WSK Champions Cup. He's looking to go 2 weeks in a row here at Adria Karting Raceway. Villa looks good in second place. Then it's Hugo and Zoloff, a place off the podium. The gap 1.3 seconds. Just a few corners remaining. Turn up the volume, you know what's coming. He goes into the sweeper for the final time. Into the hairpin, he won the WSK Champions Cup 1 week ago. That checkered flag is about to wave. O menino do Brasil, the boy from Brazil, Rafa Kamara, wins here at Adria for the 2nd week in a row for the Oak Racing team. A fabulous drive to take victory in round 1 of the WSK Supermaster Series. Villa superb on the podium in 2nd, and the American Hugo takes the final step here this afternoon. What a race here. Unfortunately, we were robbed of the spectacle of the English drivers fighting through that nasty crash off the start, eliminating both Arvid and Joseph. But no one can deny that Rafa is a worthy winner of the first round of the WSK Supermaster Series here at Adria. He won the WSK Champions Cup 7 days ago, almost to the minute. And he's won again the first round here this afternoon, the WSK Supermaster Series. The boy from Brazil, Rafa Kamara, from the Italian, Eduardo Villa, and from the good old US of A, Hugo Ugochukwu in position 3. Nicola just misses the podium P4 from Timek in position 5. Ariel Elkin, Brando Beloea, Severukin, Stensone, and Michael Paparo in position 10. .4 seconds, the winning margin between Rafa and Eduardo. And Hugo in position 3, incidentally. That is now the championship as we head to La Conca-Muralachese World Circuit in 2 weeks' time. Last year's champion, Nikita Bedren, for Ward Racing in the Tony Kart. And at the moment, the early stages, the early indications is it will be a Brazilian. Well, at least he leads us going to La Conca in a fortnight. Stay with us on WSK.IT, the podium presentation, for a fabulous final for OK in just a moment. The drivers coming up to the podium, and it's exactly the same as last week, the WSK Champions Cup, at least as far as the top step is concerned. Rashid Al-Daheri wins the WSK Champions Cup and round 1 of the Super Master Series in Junior. And in OK, Rafa wins the Champions Cup and also the first round here this afternoon. A North American, a South American, and an Italian on the podium here this afternoon. The LeConte caps go on, and we are just about ready to proceed with the podium. The OK final for the first round of the WSK Super Masters Series. In third place for the Sauber Kart Republic team from the United States of America, Ugo Ugachukwu. In second place for the Tipi Kart Racing team from here in Italia, Eduardo Villa. He won the WSK Champions Cup 7 days ago, and he has won in similar fashion here this afternoon. The winner of the first round of the WSK Supermaster Series here at Adria. For the Oak Racing Team Kart Republic, it is the boy from Brazil, Rafa Camara. And with that, the national anthem of Brazil. Ugo Ugachuku takes third place, Eduardo Villa on the podium in second, and Rafa Camara the top step here this afternoon. Stay with us on WSK.IT, the KZ2 final in just a moment.